Giants of different sorts have been marauding and raiding civilized lands in bands. Death and destruction have been laid heavily upon every place these monsters have visited. This has caused great anger in high places. The angered human rulers hire the player characters to punish the miscreant giants. The human nobles provide a non-combatant guide and a map that shows the location of the hill giants. The nobles suspect there is an unknown force binding together the different giant groups. The player characters are instructed to return once they determine what sinister hand is behind the alliance of giants. Hello, and greetings, lovely person. This is RPGmodsFan, and in this video, I will be reviewing and discussing the classic Dungeons & Dragons module G1 Steading of the Hill Giant Chief, which was written by the legendary Gygax and published by TSR in 1978. This module was meant for 9th level player characters and was written for AD&D 1st edition rules. From 1975 to 1977, TSR focused on publishing rulebooks and accessories. In those years, they acted as distributors for others' D&D adventures. Other than the Temple of the Frog, which was published in Dave Arneson's Blackmore book for OD&D in 1975, G1 was TSR's first real D&D module. The follow-up modules to G1 were G2, the Glacial Rift of the Frost Giant Jarl, and G3, the Hall of the Fire Giant King. When they were originally published, the G1 to G3 modules were a big deal. They were the first adventures ever for the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons game, which was not even complete at the time, and soon afterwards TSR would continue publishing beloved modules. In 2017, the G-Series modules were updated for D&D 5th edition rules in the Tales from the Yawning Portal adventure book. In all honesty, it did not change much. The G-Series adventure path was then extended to the D-Series and is supposed to conclude with the Q1 Queen of the Demon Web Pits. All these modules can be linked together to form a grand campaign, which is known as the GDQ series. In 1981, the G-Series were compiled together in the Against the Giants compilation. Also in 1981, the D1 and D2 modules were compiled together. In 1987, all of the GDQ modules were compiled together in the Queen of the Spiders Super Module. For 2nd edition AD&D, the G-Series was again published by TSR in Against the Giants, The Liberation of Jeff, which also added more material to the series. In December 2011, in Dungeon Magazine issue number 197, Chris Perkins updated the G1 module for D&D 4th edition. Basically, the G-Series modules have been recycled quite a number of times. In the original G1 module, the adventure takes place on the fantasy world of Greyhawk, in the war-torn country of Jeff. As stated in the Tales from the Yawning Portal, the preferred habitats of hill giants, frost giants, and fire giants exist in virtually every D&D setting. So it is not too difficult to find locations for these strongholds and the events in the Against the Giants adventure path. The adventure starts quickly and is described as follows. The module assumes that the party has safely arrived at a spot near the Hill Giant stronghold, a small cave well hidden where they can be assured of being undetected. They come to the place of the giants just at dusk. There are no windows visible, but no giants or any other creatures can be seen about the place. Although occasional bursts of shouting and laughter can be heard faintly from within. So, player characters, what is your next move? Because the G1 module is legendary and so well known, I feel this spoiler warning is unnecessary. But just in case, I will now be discussing the module itself, and this video will contain spoilers. Unless you are a dungeon master who will be running this module for their players, or are a player who already played through this module and are watching this video for nostalgia purposes, I would suggest not to watch the rest of this video. Okay, let me first address the so-called elephant in the room. In the past, many players have thought of just using fireball spells and burning the wooden steading to the ground. The module tries to counter this by stating, the steading is in a nasty, damp area where hard rain is a daily occurrence and wet fog a nightly event. As a result, all wood in the place is very damp and difficult to set aflame. I have a simpler solution. I have to give credit to the YouTuber Shadiversity for this solution. A link to his video is provided below in the description section. During the Middle Ages, there were more wooden castles than there were of stone ones. However, just as stone castles were, these wooden castles were also often covered in mortar and whitewashed, making the wooden castle appear as if it was made of stone. The mortar also made the castle fireproof. So, have the steading covered in whitewashed mortar. At the start of the adventure, the steading's occupants are in revelry and are busy feasting, drinking, and making a lot of noise. This gives the player characters a good chance to sneak into the stronghold. The hill giants and their steading can be best described as a combination of a barbarian meat hall and a cannibal hillbilly clan compound. Displayed is a side-by-side comparison of the upper level of the steading from the original module and the Tales from the Yawning Portal version. In the upper level, there are halls, barracks, common rooms, a kitchen, and an open yard area. Likewise, displayed is a side-by-side comparison of the dungeon level from the original module and the Tales from the Yawning Portal version. The dungeon level consists of slave quarters, torture chambers, a smithy, and caverns. Displayed is a side-by-side comparison of a page from the original G1 module and from the Tales from the Yawning Portal. Notice anything? Starting in 1980, Dungeons & Dragons modules and adventures had boxed text to be read aloud to the player characters when entering a new room or area. The boxed text is supposed to describe what the player characters see, hear, and/or smell in the room or area. Although Wizards of the Coast updated the G1 module, which is minimal in my opinion, they were too lazy to add boxed text to the G1 adventure, as well as the other modules in the G series. I even made a video begging Wizards of the Coast to adapt an easier to read and understand text format for their adventures. However, there is one saving grace for Wizards of the Coast, and that is the Dungeon Master should not treat this adventure as a monster condo. Instead, he or she should be keeping track of the villains and major characters in the Steading and have them act, move, etc. according to the actions of the player characters. If time permits, the giants will organize traps, ambushes, and defenses. If the defense of the Steading seems hopeless, the giants will generally flee to the next higher-ranking stronghold. The main villain in the module is Nosnra, who is the chief of the hill giants and fights as a frost giant. When the adventure starts, Chief Nosnra can be found in room 11, which is called the Great Hall. Chief Nosnra is holding a feast for his guests at the Great Hall. When retiring for the night, Chief Nosnra's chambers is room number 8. Grutha is Chief Nosnra's wife. As trivia, the original G1 module did not give a name to her, and only referenced her as the chief's wife. When the adventure starts, Grutha is at the feast, seated beside her husband at the Great Hall. She also has her own chambers, which is room number 7. Chief Nosra's right-hand man is also feasting in the Great Hall at the start of the adventure. He fights as a stone giant. The sub-chief's quarters is room number 2. Visiting the hill giant chief is a cloud giant, who is acting as an ambassador for his giant kind. He is also feasting in the Great Hall at the start of the adventure. The original G1 module has 3 stone giants feasting in the Great Hall with the chief. However, in the Tales from the Yawning Portal version, only the leader of the stone giants is feasting with the chief. These giants are the master miners and engineers for all the work in the dungeon level of the Steading. As you can see, the Great Hall is filled with giants, as well as a cave bear and ogress. A frontal assault into this room can easily lead to a TPK. At the same time, this room is an AoE wet dream. Who is behind the organization of the giants? Well, it is not Loth from the Q1 Queen of the Demon Wet Pits module. The G1 and G2 modules disclose the existence of a secret force behind the giants. The secret force is revealed in the G3 module. The real puppet masters pulling the strings of the giants is the Drow noble house of Elservs, from the Drow city of Aralai Sinlu, which is the setting for the D3 Vaults of the Drow module. The matriarch of the house is Eklavdra Elservs. In the G1 module, the only clue of her involvement can be found in a concealed room. There, in a scroll tube, the player characters can find a set of instructions for the next giant raid and is signed by a Clavdor. As a DM, I would add more clues in a few other rooms of the Steading, such as the Chief's Chambers. Also in this secret room are stairs that lead down to the dungeon level. Other monsters of note that can be encountered on the upper level of the Steading are other male and female hell giants, pet cave bears, orcs who are slaves to the hell giants and, in general, will flee at the first opportunity, ogros who serve as scouts and messengers, and dire wolves. In addition to being a cellar for the hell giants, the dungeon level also has a prison, orc slave cells, a torture chamber, an armory and smithy, a cistern, 2 treasury chambers, and caverns. Overseeing the dungeon level for the hell giants is a ghastly, hunchbacked hell giant. His quarters is located in room number 2. Supplementing the forces of the hell giants is a tribe of bugbears. They lair in rooms number 4 to 8. Chamber number 3 is the prison. As a suggestion, if any of the player characters are killed, have replacement characters located and locked up here. Orcs serve as the slave labor for the hill giants. Quite a number of them have managed to escape and are staging a rebellion. The rebellious orcs are densely layered in cavern number 19. This is one of the problems this map has. Areas are too tightly packed together. This was probably due to page space limitations. As a dungeon master, I would have the caverns located geographically at much more of a distance, more of a maze-like cavernous tunnels to get to them, and have them larger in size. Manning the forges in chamber number 16 are 2 fire giants and 7 chained forced laborers who are dwarves. Tales from the Yawning Portal reduces the number of dwarves down to 5. Yet, in both versions of the module, one of the dwarves is a veteran fighter, and if freed, is a party-joinable NPC. What will Chief Nostra do if he realizes he is fighting a losing battle against the player characters? He probably would not want to abandon his treasury. So, he will probably go down to the dungeon level and hide himself in room number 32. This concealed room has spy holes where the chief can spy on chambers number 1 and 29. If he sees the party entering into chamber 29, he will then pull on levers that release 4 insane manticores that are in room number 30. If the player characters defeats the manticores, Chief Nostra will then flee his Steading and head to the glacial rift of the frost giant Jarl, where the next module, G2, takes place. The Chief's main treasure room is chamber number 33, whose entrance door is concealed, followed by a hidden poison-spiked pit trap. Quite a bit of coin can be found here. Hidden behind an illusion of a broken barrel is a map showing the location to the next module in the series, G2, and a magic chain that can teleport the party there. Thank you for watching. Hope this video has been informative and entertaining. Till next time, This is RPGmodsFan saying cheers, have a good day, and goodbye.
I want you to show me how to get to know someone like you, someone like you. I want you to know me, 'cause I know then you'll see we could be true, we could be true. I want you to see what I see in us, something so real, something so real. I want you to see that this is a love that we both feel, that we both feel. And how will we ever know if the love will ever grow without trying, without trying? And how will we ever see if we are meant to be? It's terrifying, it's terrifying. It's a losing game, it's a losing game. But this time it's more than another love war. This ain't the same, this ain't the same. They say love heals all, it makes it all alright.